Hi, I'm Zach with Cornerstone Solutions. Sometimes it's necessary for sales teams to segment data in their CRM, and then they want to be able to share the records with other users, even though those users may not own the accounts or contacts or deals within the CRM. Zoho CRM has a functionality called territories that allows us to share accounts, contacts, and related records with other members of the organization, even if they don't own the records themselves. Let's take a look at the territories functionality and build a sample territory today. Okay, so I've logged into my demo account here, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the setup icon in the top right. And under users and control, I'm going to navigate to territory management. So I've already turned on territory management, and you can see that it adds kind of a parent territory that should be your company name up at the top. And then you can add a new territory. And so I'm going to go ahead and click add new territory. Now, a territory, most people think of a territory as a geographical area, but it doesn't have to be geographical. It can be based on any field in the account module. So we could base it on an industry. We could base it on a customer type, a city. It can be based on anything. Keep in mind that an account can only be part of a single territory. So it's good to pick a way that you're deciding what that territory is before you start adding in different criteria for territory. So let's say that you added in a territory for every state, Texas, New York, whatever, and then you added in a territory for industry. Well, an account can only be part of one territory. So if you had an industry, let's say manufacturing, and you had that as a territory, and you also had a territory for Texas, you wouldn't be able to specify a manufacturer in Texas under both territories. It can only be part of one territory. So it's good to come up with a singular method of defining what a territory is. Are you going to use geographical means? Are you going to use industry? Are you going to use whatever other field that you want to use? And then stay consistent with that. Don't try to develop territories based on multiple criteria. If it's going to be geographical, make it geographical. If it's going to be based on industry, make it completely based on industry. Don't try to mix and match, because it's not going to work properly for you because of the fact that you can only associate a contact or an account with one territory. Now, I mentioned accounts. And you say, what about leads? Can you put leads in territories? You cannot at this point. The territories only work at the account level. So you assign a territory by the account record, and then it flows down to other related records as well. So if you assign an account to a particular territory, the contacts, deals, other related items that are associated with that account, it will flow down to those as well. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, let's go ahead and give our territory name. In this case, I am going to choose states. So I'm going to choose a geographical region. I'm going to call my territory Maryland. I can assign the user that I want to be the manager of this territory. That person who you assign to be the manager will have the ability to go in and edit things about the territory itself within the territory management, and they will be able to manage the permissions and the users that are within that territory. So I'm going to go ahead and assign this to my user. It's automatically set up the territory being the top level, which is the name of the company. But you can also do sub-territories as well. So once we have some territories built, like you have Maryland, you could sub-categorize different cities within Maryland or something like that. Okay, and then we add the users that we want. So in this case, I only have one other user, so I'm going to add them into this territory. Now, anybody that's in this add users now has access to the records within this territory. And so then I need to give them permissions. So what do I want them to be able to do with these records? So there's read only. They can only see the records. They can't change anything. Or there's read, write, delete. Now, the person or people that you put in these territories are going to still have the permissions that the security controls in the system already give them. So if they have any records within this territory, they're still going to have whatever permissions that they have for the records that they own. So they would be able to read, write, delete those in most cases. But this permission here is only for the records that are shared with them that they didn't previously have access to. So if somebody else owns those records and this person gets access to them through the territory, then this is the permission that they would have with that sharing of the record. So I'm going to give them read, write, delete access. And then down here at the bottom is where you define the territory itself. What criteria are you using to send somebody or to associate somebody with this territory? So in our case, we're going to use the state. And so we're going to choose billing state is MD for Maryland. Okay, when I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and create this. So I've created this territory here. And now I'm going to go to my account module because I want to see how these territories are actually assigned. Now, I know that this record here on top, I know that it is in Maryland right now. And so the billing state is Maryland. So this record should be part of this territory, but I can see right now that it is not yet. So I'm going to go back over to territories under setup. And I'm going to come along the top here and I'm going to click assign territories. And it gives me the options to run the rules for every account. So I'm going to go ahead and select run rules for every account. And it's going to go ahead and search through all the account records to find the ones that match the territory filters that we put into place. Sometimes, depending on how many records you have in the system, this can take a while. Since we only have a few, should do this pretty quickly. So let's log back into this record here. Hasn't updated yet. We'll check back in a second to see if that's updated yet. Okay, so we waited a couple of minutes and that territory rule finished running. And now I can see that the account that is in Maryland is now in the territory of Maryland. And so I can see that that was assigned. Now we're on the account record. Obviously, there's a contact associated with this account, so I can check the contact record as well. And I can see that that is assigned to the territory Maryland. And there's a deal associated with this. And so I can check and see that the deal is also associated with the Maryland territory. So again, this gives you the ability to run a sales report based on territory. So you could run a deal report and you could segment it out by the territory so you could see the sales for a particular territory. But again, the territory is assigned at the account level, and then it flows down to the related lists, the related modules. So like contacts, deals, things like that underneath those accounts. The other thing that the territories does or adds into the system is I go back to the account module here. I can see that when I'm on my view, I have another drop down here for territories. And so in addition to the regular views that I have that are created for me, I also have a drop down for territory. And so I can see that I have the Maryland territory. I had also created another one for South Dakota. And so if I select the Maryland territory, I can see the records that are associated with this view that I'm in that are associated with this particular territory. So again, I can select Maryland. I see the account that's in Baltimore here. If I select South Dakota, I can see the record that's in South Dakota. So to wrap up our video today, territories in CRM are not particularly difficult to set up, but you do want to give some thought beforehand to how you're going to set them up. What criteria are you going to use? Because you don't want overlapping criteria like we talked about earlier. Are you going to set up territories by geographical region? Is it going to be by industry? Don't mix and match the criteria that you're using so that a record would be part of multiple territories. It confuses things, makes things really messy in the CRM because of the fact that an account can only be associated with a single territory. So keep that in mind as you're building. Good luck.
If you found this video helpful, be sure to like it and leave us a comment. You can also subscribe to our channel and click the bell next to the subscribe button to be notified of new videos. If you want to learn more about Zoho or would like help with anything Zoho related, head on over to our website at zcrmhelp.com to connect with us. Thanks for watching.